Welcome back to Champion News Talk Radio, brought to you by championnews.net, your choice for the conservative voice. Ramiro Juárez is our guest today. And now, Mr. Juárez, you are running for the 44th House District for Illinois.
That's correct.
And how does all of this education experience translate into you being a legislator? And we want to hear a little bit about your campaign. So how do you think all of this is going to serve in the Illinois legislature if you are elected?
Well, here's the thing. There's so much educational policy being implemented in Springfield, yet none of these people that are down there have actually been in the classroom. And if they've been in the classroom, it's because they've been principal for a day or something like that. You know, there's a lot of things that I see, and I've mentioned a few of them, that we really need to address. I mean,
what would be your three key things that you'd like to focus on as a legislator?
I think one of the primary things is making sure that we are funding our early education, making sure that we have the resources to make sure kids can read, write, do mathematics, and we don't put science and social studies to the side like we're doing right now. Science and social studies is being cut from curriculums left and right, and it's not right. Science is very important because, honestly, I feel that there is a very huge future in engineering, computers, and the social sciences are very important. The fine arts are also important, and we're lacking in that. And I think that making sure that we're funding, I know there's talk about kindergarten, you know, making sure that there's opportunity for children to go to kindergarten. Well, what happened to preschool? I went to preschool, and that gave me a very good leg up in kindergarten. I learned my shapes. I learned my basic numbers. My son's he's going to start going to preschool at the end of this month. He's 3. He's actually going to preschool because he has a speech development problem. But hopefully, that'll work out. But
okay, so funding early education, 1, 2.
How many teachers feel like you do about this?
Every single one. You talk to every single one, and we always talk about in the faculty lounge. Why do we Why do we not look at what we're doing and realize that when we're teaching 5th grade students, we realize they're doing 3rd grade skills.
Yes.
Why do we keep spending?
The teachers have figured it out that it isn't adequate, and yet the administration is screwed up.
Don't figure it out.
Listen, I've been banging away at education as a critic for over 40 years. Well, what I found is they spend one hell of a lot of money, and they get lousy results. If you take the city of Chicago, only half the kids that get to high school that are going to graduate. Half will graduate. When they graduate, I've talked to administrators from Manley High School on the west side. What they'll tell you is they're only at the 6th grade level in honest testing. That's what they're getting out of these schools at $16,000 per child. How do you spend that much money and get the stinking results they do? And I have an idea why. It's because the teachers are not getting to run their classrooms. Who's running the classrooms? Some clunks that are superintendents, but the unions are running everything. And all they want is more teachers to be paying dues in there.
Right,
that's all they really want. And they have messed up this whole thing so that the teachers themselves. Why do you need the union managing our schools? Because that's what they're doing, and also between the union and the school board, which is elected by the union, and the superintendent has very little to do about the requirements of who they hire.
You mentioned Chicago, but we don't even have to look that far.
There's an educated person in every room, and we've got an immense amount of people that think they can tell the teachers what to do. I think that the people that are telling the teachers what to do are dummies. They never learned anything at school themselves, or they let these educated people go and run a classroom.
Now, Ramiro, you were saying funding early education is one. What are 2 more issues you want to change?
Making sure we bring back science.
Okay.
And have an emphasis on mathematics. You know, we don't have to go very far. We can look at U46, for example, the school district where my son is going to start going to, and where my wife actually works. And there are so many dedicated teachers and dedicated administrators that really try to do what's in the best interest of these kids. But it doesn't help when things are being cut to fund renovations that aren't necessary.
Well, who is deciding that these teachers in the room can't teach right? And the evidence is in that they stink at accomplishment themselves, because we've had this top-down crap from the state, the superintendents and all of the rest that have got all these rules and determination about succeeding, and they never succeed.
Too much bureaucracy.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Jack. And you're right. We need to make sure that teachers are allowed to teach.
Absolutely.
That's what it is. You know, there's so many, you know, a lot of times teachers are bombarded with making sure, it's happened to me, where I'm asked to put together a spreadsheet with my students and where they're at and how they're progressing, and then I get another department that asks me to put together the same thing, but they want me to do a completely new sheet, a completely new database, when it's essentially the same thing. There was one instance where I had 3 separate databases for the same thing.
We're going to hear more from Mr. Ramiro Juárez when we get back after the break. Stay with us.